Welcome to the instruction video for the Warminster Library's Teen Take-Home Craft. This video is a guide to creating a felt heart using some embroidery techniques. If you reserved a kit from the library, most of the supplies are provided for you. If you did not, you can still follow along with this video, you'll just need to acquire your own supplies first. The supplies needed for this craft are as follows: felt, a sewing needle, embroidery floss, stuffing, and scissors. Ribbon is an optional component if you would like to turn the heart into an ornament, keychain, or other hanging decoration. The first step is to cut a heart shape from your felt. You will need 2 identical hearts to complete this craft. If you are not interested in decorating the heart with embroidery techniques, you can then skip straight ahead to sewing the heart together. If you would like to decorate the surface of your heart, first make sure to set enough thread aside so that you can sew your heart closed at the end. A good rule of thumb is for it to be 3 times as long as the circumference, so I circled the thread 3 times around the heart before I cut it. With that set aside, you can then use any remaining thread to decorate the heart. You'll notice that embroidery thread is made up of several different strings twisted together. You may want to split it up in half so that it is not as thick, which will make it easier to thread the needle as well as push it through the felt. When doing this, slowly separate from the middle and be careful that it does not tangle. You can thread your needle and then double the thread so that there is an equal amount on each side. Then tie a knot at the end of the thread, tying the 2 ends together. Start your first stitch from what will become the inside of the heart and pull the thread all the way through so that the knot is on the inside. You can then begin using stitches to create a design or spell out a word. I used a couple of basic stitches for my own design. One is a running stitch, which is one of the simplest stitches. For a running stitch, push your needle through the fabric from the back, and then push it down again, and then pull it back through the back again, going up and down through the felt. Try to make sure that you keep the stitches roughly the same size, unless you're trying to create some sort of effect like you can see in the one heart in the middle of the page. You can also use a satin stitch, which is when you use longer stitches right next to each other to create solid shapes, which you can see in the heart on the bottom left of the screen. I also used this sort of technique on some of the letters. You can mix and match different stitches for different effects and vary the lengths of the stitches as I did in that small heart. And then once you are happy with your embroidered design, you can cut off and tie the thread, making sure the knot is on what will become the inside of the heart. If you'd like to do an embroidered design on the other half, just repeat the previous steps that we just went over. Once the heart is embroidered to your satisfaction, you can begin sewing the heart together with the thread that you set aside earlier. Line up the 2 halves. Like with the embroidery, start your first stitch from the inside of one of the hearts so that the knot is on the inside. However, this time, when you push it back through the felt, push it through both pieces. Make small, even stitches along the edge of the heart. I used a running stitch to sew my heart together, though there are other stitches that you could look up and use for yourself. If you'd like to turn the heart into a hanging decoration like a keychain or ornament, the ribbon should be sewn in on the top in the middle of the heart. Make a loop of your desired length, then stick the 2 ends on the inside of the heart. Sew through the ribbon as you are sewing the 2 halves of the heart together in order to sew it in place. As you reach the last inch or so that needs to be sewn closed, you can add the stuffing in. You can use a pencil to help push it inside if you need to. Once the heart is stuffed to your satisfaction, you can sew the remainder of the heart closed. And then congratulations on completing this craft. If you'd like to share your creation on social media, tag the Warminster Library.